Good evening and welcome into tonight's broadcast of Spencer Tiger Boys Soccer on SMU Channel 3, the Spencer Channel. I'm Mark Magnuson, and I'm joined tonight in the press box by Will Dybel. Will Dybel is joining me here tonight. Will, a former Spencer Tiger soccer player himself, and so we're happy to have Will along for this matchup between the Spencer Tigers and the Sioux City West Wolverines. The Tigers are 6-1 on the season, and the Tigers are ranked number 10 in Class 2A. Sioux City West 7-0 on the season, and they were receiving some votes in the last 3A poll. Now, Sioux City West, coming off of a big win this weekend, had a chance to play Valley West Des Moines and beat Valley 1-0. So certainly a chance that we could see the Sioux City West Wolverines jump into those rankings in Class 3A soon. The Spencer Tigers will start off defensively by playing the ball to midfield. And Will, we actually have great weather conditions here tonight. Two on paper pretty evenly matched teams as we see West attacking early. What's most important here for the Tigers to start things off in tonight's game and get their feet under them?
Well, I think especially if you're looking at West and their record so far, it's really important that they get off to a good start and get an early lead. From the looks of it, West is definitely a team that can hold their lead, and that's one thing. When you get down, it's really hard to get back into it. Although I will say that Ben McCrae, when I played for him, his thing was always the most dangerous lead in soccer is a 1-0 lead. So if we can keep that momentum going and get that ahead of the game, then that's going to be a key thing for Spencer here tonight.
Early shot from Sioux City West, and it drifts just high and wide. I believe that was number 15, Yasin Mejia, with the shot, as the Spencer Tigers have to play it out of the back, and Braden Hyder immediately has the ball, gets a touch, and now here comes West the other way. The Wolverines will play the early cross into the box, and Eli Hookfin off of his line gathers it quickly. The Spencer Tigers this weekend had two matches. A loss against Sioux City East 3-2. That was the Tigers' first loss of the season, and Spencer was able to defeat Sioux City Bishop Elin 4-1 in the tournament at Sioux City North on Friday. Here's the Tiger back line helping to defend with Ashton Musser. Now the ball is played wide to Julian Garcia. And Sioux City West, the early attacking team of the two. Here's Owen Olsen with a nice skip through midfield. Passes it to Ian McCrae, and now Ian looking for Kenny Rash as Kenny runs into space. He'll take the shot early, and Kenny could not direct that on target, but a good counterattack there, Will.
That was absolutely a great through ball, and I think Kenny's got the great idea of getting those shots off early when you've got the open shots, because I don't think West defense is going to let him have too many of those. So getting that open shot inside the box is key, and it was a great rip by Kenny.
Kenny has been very dangerous up front for the Spencer Tigers. We know about his speed, but what do you think makes him a real threat for the Spencer Tigers leading that front line?
I think he does a really great job of bringing the ball down in the corners. So when he gets those through balls, he knows when he's going to have that breakaway towards goal versus when he's going to be taking it to the corner and crossing it. And the team reads it very well as to when they need to get in there for that cross and try to finish. So he's just a great field awareness player in addition to his speed and athleticism.
And you see Kenny up front with Owen King to start things off here tonight as the Tigers now need to track back defensively. Ian Youngdahl trying to keep pace with the ball. Sioux City West trying on the left-hand side for the first time tonight. Another early cross into the box, brought down nicely, but the shot a little bit ambitious there from Oscar Perez, the junior. You could see what he wanted to do with that one.
He was definitely taking that shot as soon as he had it.
And as you can see, he could not keep that down and on target, but we have seen Sioux City West not afraid to take a couple of early shots against the Spencer Tiger goal and try to get an early one here on the road at the Spencer Soccer Complex. A little bit of back and forth volleying of the ball in midfield, and now another through ball for West to chase. The wind, not a huge factor here tonight. A little bit of a crosswind across the field, as you can see the American flag in the corner when we go back that way. Here's another short goal kick, however. And now West onto the ball. This could be dangerous, and the shot just outside the post. Eli Hookfin had it covered up, but that was an early warning sign for the Tiger back line. We saw some impressive finishing from Sioux City West in the warm-up, too. They were pretty dialed in.
Oh, yes. I mean, they've obviously worked on those shots, especially at the corner of the box. I mean, I would be very, very worried, and if I'm giving them any open space there, even with how talented Hookfin is, they're going to have some very, very good shooters.
Here's the second corner of the match from Sioux City West, and the Tigers do dig the ball out for the moment. Here will come a shot from distance, and another ambitious effort from Sioux City West. That was one of the defenders stepping up, Alex Toulay, and that was always going to be a difficult shot to get on target. Toulay runs back into the back line for Sioux City West. The Tigers under some pressure here in the opening 5 minutes. Had that one really good counterattack that led to a chance for the Tigers, at least a half chance. Here's Owen King showing off some nice strength. Plays the early ball to Kenny. Kenny got a half touch on that. A lot of contact in the box, and now a save forced by Cesar Vasquez. As Kenny Rash that time playing some physical soccer, leading the line for the Tigers, and it opened up a shot.
Olsen had a great left there. Honestly, it was great towards that back post. Went right underneath that Storm Lake player. It was honestly an amazing save on the West's keeper's part.
To the back post, knocked down by Case Cawthron, and the clearance by, I believe that was Owen King getting back to help out. Now a left-footed ball put into the box. Did he stay onside? Yes, he did. And I don't know if he was going for the highlight or what exactly happened there, but Oscar Perez, maybe he thought he was offside, not on target with the shot.
That was a dangerous throw, but that was very well played by West there. But if he would have just kept it down, he had an open goal, it seemed, just one-on-one.
Eli Hookfin again placing down for the goal kick and trying to play it through the middle again. This time he does pick out Owen Olsen with that strong left foot. The Wolverines on the ball again, and here is Oscar Perez, who's seen a lot of the ball already in the early going for the Wolverines. Perez defended by Hyder and King that time. Here's Braden Hyder. A little bit of a no-look pass to Owen Olsen. Olsen plays it towards Ian Youngdahl and Kenny Rash, but that was too far ahead of the two Tiger captains. And now here's a big-time kick down the field, flipping the field. Case Cawthron was aware of where the ball was, but that was another option for Sioux City West with the direct ball early, and Eli Hookfin forced into a save for Spencer. Owen King will come back to get the touch in midfield, lays it off for Owen Olsen. Now Isaac Peterson up from his left back position. And a late tackle there, a challenge from Peterson will give the foul, and it will be Sioux City West placing this down for a free kick.
The aggressiveness of West is just, you can tell it's on a different level. They're really going after the ball. They're making every challenge. And I think Spencer's going to have to take a step forward and really kind of go after those open balls.
Here's the delivery towards the penalty spot, headed down by a Spencer player. Owen Olsen now on it for the Tigers. Plays the through ball looking for Kenny Rash. Kenny wins the foot race, gets there, but the two defenders working together in tandem able to get the ball away. Kenny actually got that in front of Gabe Hernandez, but it was Yason Mejia who came over to help out and get that ball out for a Tiger throw-in.
Notice how they're just keeping Yason on Kenny the whole time. I don't think he's moved more than 2 feet from him in the whole game so far, trying to shut him down.
Isaac Peterson will take this throw, and it's going to bounce all the way to Ian McCrae. Sioux City West able to get the clearance. When I first got here tonight, I thought, doesn't really look like the Sioux City West green I'm used to. It looks more like a Storm Lake green a little bit. I think of Sioux City West as being a little bit darker shade of green, so I had to double take a little bit. Here's Ian Youngdahl battling for the ball on the edge of the box. And the Wolverines now with a chance to counterattack. Pretty good hold-up play there by the Wolverines, and now here's Abe Ponce. Wide on the left-hand side, good delivery with the left foot. Ian McCrae takes the early ball, plays it forward. A little bit of the wind helping hold that ball up. Goalkeeper was off his line very aggressively. Cesar Vasquez to clear the ball. Now Ian McCrae wide for Case Cawthron. Case Cawthron at right back. Ashton Musser and Derek Huss at the central defender spots for the Tigers. Braden Hyder, Ian McCray, Owen Olson in midfield. Isaac Peterson at left back. He's the intended target here. Does come up with the ball, but has it taken away nicely on the challenge by Jose Martinez. But then Martinez plays it into space where there was nobody there, and Oscar Perez kind of asking who that pass was intended for.
I'm noticing again that Spencer tends to take a step back when that ball is coming to him, and West is taking that different stance of that step forward, going straight towards the ball for the challenge, and they're coming out with more than Spencer, and that's going to hurt them in the long run here.
And that can make a big difference. A player coming just that one step to the ball as opposed to waiting for it to get there. Mm-hmm. You're right. West has looked the aggressive team here in the early going. Here's a deflection, I think, off of Ian. Eli Hookfin will make the catch. Came off the side of the foot of Ian Youngdahl. And now Eli puts his foot through this. Owen King with the takedown. Owen Olson shielding off Perez from behind. And then Owen continuing his run. The referee actually was playing advantage there. I think pulled it back for that first foul.
I think you're right. I think West was actually complaining on a second one, but as you said, I think they had the advantage. And
so here is Derek Huss' first chance to place down a free kick, set piece for the Tigers. 10 minutes into the match, 0-0 our score. Dangerous area for that ball, but it is scooped up by the goalkeeper, Vasquez. And he will try this early service to get the Wolverines on the move, and it's worked. Here's Perez. Doesn't have numbers, but potential opportunity. Not much of an option there for Raymondo Gonzalez, and he goes for goal, but Eli Hookfin had that all covered up. I don't think we've seen an opponent play it as quickly and as directly as Sioux City West has here a couple of times already here tonight.
I would agree completely. They just definitely want to keep going straight towards that goal. They're relying on some athleticism to try to get past Spencer, and even when they don't seem to have some of the people in the center, they're still trying to cross it right to the middle.
Owen King gets a touch for the Tigers, but it's right back to Jose Martinez. Plays it wide to the left-hand side for Raymondo Gonzalez, who's been active here in the first 10 minutes of the match. Gonzalez fires it into the box, brought down beautifully, and then Hookfin with a wonderful save for the Tigers, as it looked like Oscar Perez was going to produce the first goal of the match.
That was an excellent save by Hookfin. He really came out and challenged. He was prepared in the right spot, especially with that wide open shot by West.
And that might be some of what we talked about, Will, too, of being aggressive and taking that step out towards the ball and closing down that angle just a little bit. Now Owen King with some work to do in midfield. Does end up finding a teammate. Now Ian McCray looks for Kenny Rash. And Sioux City West back onto the ball. A little bit too aggressive that time in looking for Raymundo Gonzalez. And Gonzalez has proven that he can break things down even when he does not have the numbers on that left-hand side. Owen King back to get ahead onto the ball. Case Cothran. Now Braden Hyder. And Hyder comes away with the ball after that challenge. Here's Owen Olson. It's going to come right back to him. Owen, can he feel the player behind him? Now he turns on the Jets. Crosses it into the box, and too close to Vasquez as he's able to come up with the ball.
I think Spencer might need to really look at a different strategy. I mean, Kenny's been a star player for him. He's fantastic, but every time they're kicking it to him, you see 2 or 3 Sioux City West players just surrounding him, and that's tough for anybody to overcome.
And does that open up a run like we just saw from Owen where there's so much attention on Kenny?
Hopefully, and you just need to get somebody else going with him too, so then he has some option other than Kenny, who's so overloaded, so you can actually work it towards the center there or get a shot off, or just rely on that player to make it all the way through.
Misplay there. We'll give the ball to Sioux City West on the throw. Substitution made by the Wolverines here. First sub of the match. And coming off of the bench is Elijah Turner. And he will replace Julian Garcia. So Turner comes over to this near touchline. In for the Wolverines, number 14, Elijah Turner. Isaac Peterson with the header. Turner gets his first touch. Now Jose Martinez. Not sure if Martinez saw Owen Olsen that time. Either way, lucky to end up with the ball again. Now Ian Youngdahl read that nicely. The layoff for Braden Hyder. And there's Perez again helping to win the ball back from the front. Oscar Perez taking his time. Elijah Turner making the run on the outside. Turner, chance to cross, got the deflection. And now Musser puts his foot through it for Spencer, but the ball ends up with Jose Martinez. Martinez wide. Owen Olsen comes back to break up the play. Referee spotted that foul, allows the Tigers to play on. And Kenny Rash has it taken away, and now it will be a throw for West on that far side.
I think other than the through ball, Spencer really needs to look at trying to keep that ball under control and down. Every time that ball goes in the air, it really seems to end up in Sioux City West's possession. So when they try to clear it or any other possession in that sense, they're really losing it more often than not.
Another try at this throw for the Wolverines in a moment. Big throw in down the line, headed backwards by Case Cawthron. Derek Huss will get there for Spencer, and Derek does not get the ball clear. Left-footed cross to the top of the 18. Perez wide to Elijah Turner, looking for the return to Perez. And the Tigers get the touch that was very much needed. Now another ball hit towards Raimundo Gonzalez. Spencer comes away with it through Owen Olsen. Owen trying the through ball for Kenny Rash. Kenny runs onto the end of it. Heavy first touch, but will get there off the potentially arm of a West player as the Tiger fans wanted the handball. Still alive for Ian McCray, and Ian with the missed kick as the ball goes wide.
It was a good choice on that rip right there. Kenny did a fantastic job keeping that ball in play even after a Sioux City West player got his foot on it, and that really did present that opportunity there, just that sticking with it.
And that shows off, too, we know how fast Kenny is, but his quickness, too, because then the ball got away from him and he was able to get right back to it. I didn't think he was going to be able to. Nice little flick in midfield from Jaime Perez, and now plays it to Oscar Perez. Into the path of Elijah Turner. Turner driving into the box, pulls it back. Still alive for Oscar Perez. Fires it to the far post. Sioux City West to the ball first. Still options for the Wolverines. Headed away by Derek Huss, but still not cleared. Owen King now comes up with the ball, and Owen has a lot of green grass in front. Tried to play it into the path of Kenny Rash. And now the ball fluttering in midfield will end up with Owen Olsen.
You know, you were talking about angles earlier, Mark. It's really been important for Spencer. They've done a great job defensively getting those angles in pursuit and making sure that they're not getting too many opportunities to West.
We did see West get in front of the goal a couple of times in the very early moments, but from then on, Spencer has done a better job of pushing West to, I guess, the sides of the goal and not making it as open in front of things as Eli Hookfin puts his foot into this big kick. Jose Martinez wins the first ball, but the Tigers there on the second ball. Davis Hogue has come into the game in midfield. And the Tigers, if they do have an advantage in midfield, I think a little bit more height and maybe a little bit more strength in midfield right now with Hogue, Olsen, and Hyder out there. Three pretty solidly built guys in midfield.
Yeah, they're going to definitely need to use those guys to their advantage to move that ball up front and then continuously keep control of that center and try to start getting more possession in the other half of the field.
Jose Martinez, he has been pulling the strings in midfield, and he does so again here. Linking up with Abe Ponce on that left-hand side. Case Cawthron now wants to make a charge forward. Ball got away from him just a little bit and then couldn't quite bring it back in. Now Owen Olsen. Owen using his physicality. Stop and go dribble. Delivers the cross with the right foot. Back to Owen Olsen, left-footed shot. Screams across the goal, but was always going wide. And there's been a few times tonight where Owen's been surrounded by 2 or 3 white shirts, and he's just continued to play and use that close control in his body to keep those players off of him.
He has done a great job just positioning his body so that he can keep control of it, and the challenges that he's had over and over to get that ball back if he gets it a little out of control there have been just fantastic. It does show his experience there coming in.
Which is strange because Owen is just a sophomore. This is his first year at the varsity level. Usually you don't see players using their body to shield the ball like we've seen from Owen until they're upperclassmen, but he's already developed that part of his game as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm. I think he did a lot.
Musser with a missed kick. Chance for West, and Hookfin off his line again was ready for it.
Excellent save by Hookfin again, and
the Tigers will breathe a sigh of relief there as West suddenly had a chance right in front of goal. Olsen, outside run being made by Ian Youngdahl. Ian gets there, got a touch on the ball. Was that off of the West player last? No, it was not.
if we had a time of possession going here right now, I'm really curious to see. From my perspective, it feels like it's actually been fairly even. What would you be thinking in your experience here, Mark?
I would guess 60-40?
60-40?
West, or is that too much?
No, you'd probably be right, I think. It has been, I think, more in Spencer's half a little more often.
Elijah Turner, since coming into the game, has been a pretty consistent option on this right-hand side. That time could not bring the ball in. Headed away once again by Jose Martinez. Jose Martinez, the senior midfielder. And he will be on the ball now. Tigers giving him time to pick out a pass. Almost sneaks it through. Case Cawthron gets a partial clearance, but West back onto the ball immediately. Here's Christian Joaquin. Some fancy footwork and not a bad effort, but Eli Hookfin saw it coming all the way. That was going to take a special hit to beat him, I think, from that one.
I think West's bread and butter of getting off that breakaway and trying to get an open shot is going to be what their key is here. And Spencer keeping him out earlier and keeping him outside the box is key as well. So making him take those shots is going to be fantastic for their defense. Try to wear him down, and I think Hookfin can handle almost all of those.
Sometimes I think teams with the wind at their back feel like they can take more of those long shots, but defensively I think that only helps out the defense sometimes. Those long-range efforts are sometimes take a special strike to beat the keeper. 16:20 left to play in the first half. Still scoreless, although we've had chances on both ends. Isaac Peterson steps up and wins the ball. Davis Hogue back to Isaac Peterson. Isaac with a little bit of a step over, looking for Owen King. Slides in, but wisely drew that leg back. Now Jose Martinez. Better job there by Davis Hogue of closing him down and forcing him to make a decision. Little miscommunication here between Musser and Huss. And finally, Derek Huss does get the ball clear, at least as far as Owen King. To Davis Hogue, and now Owen Olsen in some space. Owen able to pick out Kenny Rash on a diagonal ball. Kept on the ground. Kenny trying to return it for Owen. And does make it there in the end. Olsen to Davis Hogue. Hogue will shoot from distance, but Cesar Vasquez able to watch that go wide.
That might be one of the key things for Spencer is when they can get it up to Kenny, if they can have somebody following there just to do a quick pass back and start pulling some of those defenders off of him and getting some 1-2s in there and get him some opportunities, because I think they're going to need that soon before Kenny gets too worn out. He's looking pretty winded currently.
He's had to make quite a few long runs to try and threaten that Sioux City West goal. Braden Hyder.
And for the Tigers, number 2, McCray. For the Wolverines, number 12, Francisco.
Another left-footed ball played nicely up to the front line of Sioux City West. Wolverines player will hold things, waiting for some teammates to join him. Case Cawthron really battling on that far side. And a deflected ball comes off of Cawthron and will be out for a corner kick. Christian Joaquin, the player, earning that corner kick for Sioux City West, the Wolverines' third corner of this first half.
It's always interesting to see. Some teams are just like, corner kicks are amazing for them and they've put so much time and effort into it, and some of them just seem like they don't have much of a plan, and I'm interested to see where West's philosophy is here.
Tigers get the ball away, and now Ian McCray in a foot race. Ian plays it for Kenny Rash, and now Kenny has the better of the defender. Still Kenny Rash shoots early, and Vasquez makes a great save coming off of his line, and then gets a fortunate bounce as the ball stays in play. I love an aggressive keeper that comes off of his line like that, and Vasquez has commanded his area tonight, as this is going to be offside against Sioux City West, but he's got a presence about him back there in the box.
He does. He is probably an intimidating keeper as you're dribbling up towards him, and he just has a tall body, long arm reach. I mean, it's probably tough to get it around him if you get too close, especially with him challenging, like you said.
And I think the defender that time, yes, he was very frustrated that Kenny beat him in the foot race, but Kenny did have to bring himself wide, and then that allowed Vasquez to shift over to that side of the goal, and like we mentioned earlier, those angles so important.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Joaquin, the player that has caused some problems on that left-hand side in recent minutes. Chance to cross, and it was off of a Spencer Tiger player, so it will be a corner kick, number 4 for Sioux City West in the half.
And see, what I was talking about almost earlier is you see how Sioux City West is bringing so many people. They just like to fill that box up, and that was what provided Spencer the opportunity. And notice this time 22's hanging a little bit further back. Last time all of them were full in the box, and that just did provide that opportunity for Kenny.
Went to the near post. Tigers got it away initially, and then Owen Olsen comes out of the box with the ball. 12 minutes left to play. Fast-moving first half, but still scoreless between the Tigers and Wolverines. Owen King able to stay with it. Kenny Rash lays it off to Ian Youngdahl. Isaac Peterson calling for it on this near side. He does have a lot of space. Ian McCray will get it to Isaac Peterson. And now Isaac brings the ball forward. Peterson into the path of Owen King. Owen charging forward. Vasquez gets a touch and then dives back onto the ball, making sure that it is his.
That was an excellent job of switching the fields, especially with McCray, understanding and knowing where his players' teammates were at in order to take advantage and start to force the defense to move with him. It was just fantastic to provide that opportunity.
And Isaac Peterson coming up from his left back position just gives the Tigers that extra man coming forward in the attack, and then Owen King with one of his first chances to run into the box and get onto the end of the ball almost. It's number 22, Julian Garcia, wide to Oscar Perez. And now Emiliano Perez freshman who's come into the match. Always impressed by a freshman playing at the varsity level, pretty much any sport, but the fact that he's out there right now is pretty impressive.
Oh, I agree completely. When you, especially at this level of team, when you have such talented teams out there, if you have a freshman out there, they have to have shown their skill to that coach, and that is something to see.
Comes the left-footed shot from Jose Martinez. You could see the shape of the shot from the camera angle. That was always going up and over the crossbar, and now the Tigers will make a double switch. It will be Gavin Gross coming into the game, the sophomore for Spencer, along with Christian Hookfin, replacing Ian Youngdahl and Owen King. Christian will be on the far right side of midfield. Gavin Gross will be on the left-hand side of the midfield.
Back in the game for West Perez.
Hyder to McCray. Back to Braden Hyder. Gives a ball for Gavin Gross to chase, and Gavin creating some problems between three defenders. Christian Hookfin joins him in coming forward. Christian with the layoff to Owen Olsen. Owen has it taken off of his foot by the West Wolverine.
I think that was one of the first times I've seen Major actually come off of Kenny Rash to go after somebody else this game. It was a good job by us to get him to be pulled off.
West will take this throw in with just under 9 minutes left to play in the first half. Wolverines on the edge of the box with the ball still. Slight miss kick, still alive for West. Still the Wolverines with the ball. Oscar Perez trying to shield it from Spencer Tiger defenders, and now the shot at Eli Hookfin, who had his positioning right and makes the catch. So West continues to threaten the Tiger goal, but the Wolverines have not been able to score yet. 5 shots on target unofficially is what I have the Wolverines down for.
That was an amazing through ball. The wide, oh, never mind.
Nice little flick on there for the Wolverines, and now the shot into the corner is number 9, Jaime Perez, and that was a great touch right on the edge of the box, back into the path of Perez, who just calmly puts it into the far corner, and the Wolverines strike first.
I think this is going to be trouble for Spencer trying to get back into the game after losing the lead right away. As I was saying earlier, this is going to be one of their keys, is to try to come out first. So now they've got an uphill battle. They're usually more of a team that controls the game, and that's going to put a little bit of a damper on their play.
Braden Hyder to Kenny Rash. Tried the layoff for Owen Olsen, but couldn't get it past Yason Mejia. And now the ball all the way back to Eli Hookfin, who was beaten for the first time tonight on that shot from Jaime Perez. Ian McCray to Braden Hyder, and now Gavin Gross. Jose Martinez with the throw in. Oscar Perez gets a touch, but Braden Hyder is there for Spencer. Braden to Ian McCray. Now Gavin Gross a chance to run after this through ball. And getting there just in time and sweeping it away was number 5, Salvador Palmias.
You know, Hyder always impresses me with his first touch on that ball. For a larger guy, you usually don't expect that kind of finesse and ball control from him. And he just does a fantastic job when he first gets that to provide space.
Isaac Peterson into Owen Olsen. Back to Isaac. He'll deliver a ball with the right foot. Headed away by Mejia, but only as far as Kenny Rash. Kenny trying to get the ball to Christian Hookfin. Now a chance for Raimundo Gonzalez to run with the ball. Continues his run. Derek Huss scampers over, gets a touch. It will be a Tiger goal kick, I believe, in the end. It's quite a run made there by Raimundo Gonzalez. Double substitution coming in. Is he going to be one of the players that leaves? No, he will stay on the pitch. As coming back in is actually Brian Sanchez. I believe it's the first time we've seen him tonight, but a defender re-entering the match, Gabe Hernandez, and he immediately gets right next to Kenny Rash.
In for the Wolverines, number 6, Brian Sanchez, and 20, Gabe Hernandez.
Braden Hyder with the takeaway, but Martinez wins it back. 5 minutes left to play in the half. Tigers trail 1-0. Left-hand side starting to create some problems for the Spencer Tigers. The left-hand side of the attack for West. Christian Hookfin. Chance to run with the ball for the first time since coming in. Now Kenny Rash. Kenny. Gavin Gross was making a nice run on this side, and free kick taken quickly. Gavin will chase after it, and a spill by Vasquez, fortunate to get right back to it. Seen him make all the spectacular plays in the first half. That was the first time Cesar Vasquez, a little bit of a bobble. Perez down the line with a sloppy pass. He's not happy about that. Gives it right back to Spencer with 4.5 minutes left to play first half. And if the Tigers could somehow find a way to get one back just before halftime, that would be a great way to go into the halftime break. Here's Braden Hyder to Derek Huss. Isaac Peterson to Ian McCrae. Now Isaac again. And another nice sliding challenge by Salvador Palmias. Second time we've seen that from him just the last couple of minutes. As Perez chases after this, Derek Huss able to keep Perez from getting to that ball after the first touch. Oscar Perez has had a very active first half, that's for sure. A couple of chances in front of goal as well for Sioux City West, and he looks like he has a little bit of a problem here. He's going to be replaced by Elijah Turner. Last time we saw Turner come into the game, he was like a magnet for the ball. It seemed like he ended up with it almost every time. And he will go right into the front line for the Wolverines now with 3 minutes and change left to play in this first half. Here's the through ball played towards Christian Joaquin.
Well, I'm going to say off those goal kicks, we've Spencer's had quite a few in the air, and I think I've seen Sanchez bring down most of those that have gone straight to the middle. So Sanchez from West has really kind of been taking almost every ball up in the air there in the middle.
Shot from outside the box as his momentum was taking him away from goal. Jaime Perez, the goal scorer for Sioux City West, could not get the shot on target. Is that a change that Eli Hookfin might have to start making, playing these balls more to the side?
Yeah, again, I feel like Spencer they have such fantastic ball control. They move it very well. Lots of quick passes and movement on their whole side, and they need to really play to that strength because that's how they've been getting all their opportunities against West. When they start getting it up in the air too much, West tends to always come back down with that ball because of their aggressive play. So really kind of playing to their strength there and continuing with their great ball control and providing themselves those opportunities, working it through McCrae in the middle. I mean, that'll be key.
This time the Tigers do leave it on the ground and work their way into an attacking position. Christian Hookfin somehow kept that ball in. And Sioux City West happy to concede a throw-in that just stayed on this side of the corner flag. Christian Hookfin will take this throw. And not happy, center referee, with that. It will be a foul throw. Christian Hookfin, kind of a sidewinding throw that time.
Well, they've really tried to work on how to get that spin on there, and then sometimes they just overshoot it and come a little bit too far from the side. And the refs have really been watching out for that the last couple of years.
And that one was certainly noticed right away. Challenge from Owen Olson, a little bit over aggressive, gives away the foul. 60 seconds left to play in the half. Sioux City West leads 1-0. And the Wolverines have a free kick now. Big delivery all the way over the head of Isaac Peterson, who makes sure that the Wolverine attacker could not get to the ball. And Spencer will have it for the final 30 seconds of this first half. Eli Hookfin will play it short again to Derek Huss. And now it will be Derek to look for Kenny Rash. Kenny gets way up to win the ball, but West there. Now Hyder into space.
9, 8,
Knocked down in midfield, and the final seconds of the half will wind down as we reach the halftime break. It is Sioux City West 1, the Spencer Tigers 0. Sioux City West scoring in the 32nd minute. It was Jaime Perez on the goal. He received the ball he laid off a touch pass to a teammate who just was kind of a little backheel flick right back to him, which allowed him to have a path towards goal. And there was not much Eli Hookfin could do at that point. It was a nice finish by Jaime Perez. Both teams have had their chances, Will. Do you think one team had, who do you feel shaded that first half? Was it Sioux City West with the 1-goal lead?
I do. I think that Sioux City West had more opportunities. They were taking advantage of them more. Like you said earlier, that was a great setup for Sioux City West. He basically tapped it right back to him. He had one touch to the penalty marker and just took a great shot. And, Hookfin's a great keeper, but that was a well-placed shot. And I think that, Spencer is going to have to really work at trying to get a couple more of those shots within the box there, especially some way to free up Rash a little bit or try to utilize another player. Some of their best shots have come when people collapse on Rash and he can just tap it right back to a following midfielder to get off a good shot and take advantage of that to try to get that goal back.
Yeah, we've seen Owen King come up and join the play a couple of times. Owen Olson moving up from midfield, creating some half chances in the very least, but the Spencer Tigers did threaten in the first half. I had the Tigers unofficially for 5 shots on target. Do not forget as well, Cesar Vasquez made a couple of really nice saves for Sioux City West. If there's different keeper in goal for West, who knows? It could be 1-1 at the halftime break. Not certain there. Both keepers made some pretty good saves in the first half, but going into the half, Spencer trails 1-0. Sioux City West with the lead, and coming up here in the halftime break, going to recognize the future of Spencer boys soccer. Rec players currently in season and working hard, and they're going to get a round of applause here during the halftime break as they have been working hard in their season and will be recognized here at halftime of the Spencer Tiger boys game. And that's, the players that we see play varsity soccer for the Spencer Tigers, it starts here at this level. And, Will, that's how you are able to play when you're a freshman, a sophomore, for the Tigers at the varsity level because you've been working so hard for so long.
Exactly. And honestly, it's a really great thing for Spencer. I don't know if you were aware, but their rec league jumped up about 100 enrolled players just from fall to spring. And now, of course, maybe that was COVID, but I think that's the largest increase they've had. It was in the mid-200s to the mid-300s from just fall to spring this year. So just seeing that kind of talent develop and really getting all those kids involved, like you said, is key to building a great high school program.
And when we see the Spencer Tigers come out and play such great soccer year in and year out, it's because of the youth buildup and the players that have been – they don't just start playing when they're in the high school level. They've been playing for a long time before that.
Oh, yeah. And, the club program here has a philosophy, and, I coached in that for a while as well, and we really, really emphasize the fact that it's not about that winning. It's about the skill development. So everything we're doing is trying to set them at the level where they're going to just improve and find them the right challenge when they're going to the tournaments. Continuously, every coach has the U.S. Soccer endorsement. They always have to have that at least Class E license, I believe, for both the rec and for for sure for the club. So it's a great program they've built up, and like you said, you can really see it at this level.
So we will see if the Spencer Tigers can come up with the equalizing goal early on in the second half. That's coming up next as the Tigers trail at the halftime break 1-0. You're watching Spencer Tiger Boys Soccer on SMU Channel 3, the Spencer Channel.
Getting out on the field, playing with teammates pretty much. The Premier League's going on, so kind of watching that a little bit. Loud chewing, I guess. I like Shrimp. I like Jesse because he's kind of funny and stepped up this year, so definitely the sports. I'm going to miss a lot. It's going to be a big part. Probably go to Iowa State University. My Xbox, TV, and some clothes. Take every minute you can and use it to the best.
The Spencer Fine Art Boosters, or FAB, was established in July 2015 to provide encouragement and funding to the
My favorite part is I like to play with my friends. We're doing an excellent job training, and I think being in a school and having this sport is awesome. I like to watch sports. When people make a lot of noises sometimes. Tacos, I like tacos. I don't have a favorite one. I think all of them are the best because they teach you what they know, and they give you the best learning to give you something in the future. Teachers, friends, maybe waking up at the morning, came to school, and have a little chat with friends. My plans are going to be work and help my family and buy a car, I think. My phone, my wallet, and my keys. To never give up, they have to work hard, and I think having these coaches will help them to progress.
If you notice a streetlight in our community that is out or blinking, please go to our website at smunet.net and click on the Streetlight Outage Report link. We will get it on our schedule for our staff to look into. Thanks for helping us keep our streetlights on.
At Spencer Municipal Utilities, we keep you connected. After a long day at work using our internet service for your business needs, we know you expect the same service at home. When everyone gets home and is using their devices while waiting for dinner, or online while winding down at the end of the day. At Spencer Municipal Utilities, we are keeping you connected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We keep you connected to your world.
I don't know, the people, the coaches, it's just fun being around all of them. The Walking Dead, that's my go-to show. When people chew with their mouth open, that's a tough one. I eat a lot, so really anything. I mean, I don't really have any, but if I was going to go with a favorite teacher, it would probably be Mr. Halverson. He's just a cool dude. Probably the people I see every single day since elementary, or most of them at least, or middle school. I'm going to Iowa Lakes and then Iowa State, and I'm majoring in education. TV, PlayStation, and my pillow. strive to be better every day. It goes fast.
Second half is underway from the Spencer Soccer Complex, where the Spencer Tigers trail 1-0 to the visitors from Sioux City, the Sioux City West Wolverines. The Wolverines scoring a goal about 8 minutes from the halftime break. It was Jaime Perez on a nice 1-2. Started from just outside the box, and as Perez got the ball back on that pass, was at about the penalty spot and was able to score the goal that has separated these two teams. And now the Spencer Tigers start things off with the ball on the front foot, and it's Owen Olson working his way into the box. Still Owen Olson. He goes down in the box, and Owen pretty vehement that he was fouled. Nobody else too over the top and asking the referee for a penalty decision.
I think their coach must have talked to him about trying to move the ball and do a couple more 1-2s up there, because just from the kickoff, getting down into that box, I saw 5 1-2 passes with Spencer there to get that shot off, or get the ball there. Not the shot, excuse me.
Oscar Perez will try and flip this all the way across the field. Somehow ends up with a teammate. And now here is Jose Martinez. The layoff into the path of Perez. Wearing the highlighter pink shoes. Perez back to Yason Mejia. And now Oscar Perez again. The layoff continues his run. Jose Martinez helps the ball through to Garcia. Great build-up here by West. Oscar Perez onto the ball in the box, and a deflected ball. Derricus does enough to stop that shot, and then Eli Hookfin able to cover it up. That might have been about the most passes we've seen West string together in an attacking move, though, and it almost resulted in a chance.
It did. I was going to say that was definitely not their normal style from the first half, and that was something I don't know if Spencer was quite prepared for.
West Wolverines giving quite a bit of free license to Oscar Perez. We've seen him pop up in different areas of the pitch, even though he is, I guess, considered the center forward for the attack of the Wolverines. Not too dissimilar from, as we watch this long ball head into the box, Derek Huss able to win the header, but still not cleared by the Spencer Tigers. Played through towards Raimundo Gonzalez. And now Owen Olsen with the chance to run. Touch gets away from him just enough to allow Gabe Hernandez to get there, but back to Owen Olsen. Looking for Owen King. Brings it down nicely in stride. Owen King creating some space on that left-hand side. Did he get the cross in time? And it looks like that ball did stay in play. And Vasquez able to make the catch. Oscar Perez with the header, and it will go out into touch. We were impressed by Cesar Vasquez and how he commanded the box for Sioux City West in the first half. Gets his first touch here in the second half. And now West with a foul throw of the Wolverines doing. Well, what are the referees looking for when they don't like a throw-in attempt?
So the ball going all the way back over the head, both, and then straight over. So a lot of the times players are really now trying to put that twist on it, but they've got to still keep their hands going straight over their head. This is a common piece. That back foot coming up is another common thing that they'll be looking for. And I think in this case, the most common thing, though, and I think that might have been a back foot. I couldn't quite see myself, but generally it's trying to put that spin on that they just usually get caught for.
Ball into the path of Kenny Rash. Kenny does not have numbers, but he can hold the ball up here. Gets it back to Owen Olsen. Bobbles in front of him. And the flag is up on this near side. The center ref does not see the flag yet. Now he does. As Kenny was still offside, in an offside position when Owen had that ball, and then tried to play it forward to Kenny Rash.
Now in Spencer's formation here, one of the things that you're going to notice is when we're getting the ball downfield off of a breakaway, like the last time we had that, it was just 2 purple versus 5 white, and having that difference in numbers is really going to be hard to overcome. The midfield is really going to have to work to get up and provide somebody to pass to.
Here's Ian Youngdahl on the right-hand side for Spencer. Keeps the ball near the end line. Ian trying to knock that off of a West player. It looks like somehow still keeps the ball. Still battling for it. And West finally gets the clearance at least for a throw-in. Pretty good work by Ian. Just a battle there.
Keeping that ball in play right there on the line and actually starting to provide a threat is very talented on Youngdahl's part. It's hard to do down in that corner. It's usually just easy to get caught and actually even dribble it out yourself.
We've talked about some of the younger players for Spencer getting a chance here at the varsity level. Ian's one of those players that does have a lot of experience at this level for the Spencer Tigers. Unfortunately, that throw went astray, and now it will be West with the ball placed down for a goal kick. Elijah Turner has come back into the game. Senior on the right-hand side, and you can see he's got his boots almost on that touch line, on that wide area. He is creating some width at the moment for the Wolverines. Heavy challenge there between Derek Huss and Jaime Perez. Huss wins the ball. Now Jose Martinez with the slide, brings it back in. Finds Abe Ponce. Ponce looking for the pass ahead to Oscar Perez, and now a tumble as Perez collides with Case Cawthron, and it will be a free kick for Sioux City West.
Now, each time we've seen them, they tend to just take that shot right from these free kicks. So I'll be interested to see if they try to get it to somebody off the back post or something similar, or if they're just going to be going for another shot again.
Yeah, we've talked about West winning the ball in midfield, but when they've been in these situations near the goal mouth, it has been Spencer that has been able to win a lot of those headers. It is a ball headed towards goal, but it will pop over the crossbar, as underneath at that time was Alex Toole.
Yeah, that's a really good point you had, Mark. You know, Huss is extremely physical in the back, which is a key defensive place for them, and he does a great job maintaining control back there. So same with Ashton over on the other side.
Ian Youngdahl with the sliding challenge. The layoff back to goalkeeper Cesar Vasquez. And Vasquez with a miscue gives it away. Ball ends up with Kenny Rash. Jose Martinez came back to take it off of him. And now the ball will flutter near the end line, but Vasquez gets there to put it out for a Tiger throw. A little bit sloppy there at the back from Sioux City West, and especially goalkeeper Cesar Vasquez. He had time to pick out a pass and gave it back to a purple shirt.
Mm-hmm. Not something we've seen from him too often tonight, I'd say.
Chance for Braden Hyder to win the ball. He lays it back to Owen King. This could be opportunity here for the Spencer Tigers if the Tigers can work this ball into the box, but instead the Tigers try the long ball from Isaac Peterson, and you could see Isaac wasn't happy with how he struck that, hit it just a little bit too hard. 9 minutes gone in the second half. The Tigers with the 11 on the field that started the game, apart from Davis Hogue, who is in midfield right now at the moment. Here's Owen Olson to Davis Hogue. Case Cothran looking for Braden Hyder. Wide for Abe Ponce. There's Oscar Perez getting a touch. Ian Youngdahl to Derek Huss. Now it's Jaime Perez, the goal scorer for West. Played forward, dangerous. There his legs were almost getting tangled up near the edge of the box. Now Eli Hookfin comes for the ball, and the center referee, as they so often do, will pull this back after the contact with the goalkeeper. Goalkeepers get that benefit of the doubt.
They really do. They should be, and they should be. They should be untouchable. They had so many concussions in the past. Refs have really done a great job protecting them and making sure that that physicality doesn't happen to them unless they're coming out and challenging.
And you could see Eli also got there and got a touch on the ball, which helps, I think, make that call even easier for the center referee. Tigers can't string it together to keep the ball. Here's Ponce and Owen Olson with the strong 50-50 shoulder challenge. And now Perez on the move. Ian Youngdahl even with a little tug of the arm, and he was still able to get away. And now a fluttering ball into the box, and Eli Hookfin climbs the ladder to go up and get it.
That was quite a physical play earlier. I was honestly a little wondering if we might have gotten a call there.
You know, I will say this about Owen Olson. I think, you know, the entire varsity basketball season where he was a starter for the Spencer Tigers worked wonders for him, getting that chance to play that physical style of varsity sports to then translate that to the soccer field. I think that's been a huge boost for Owen.
Absolutely. You know, you always hear that debate of the multi-sport athlete, and I'm a huge proponent of the multi-sport athlete. And people say, do you specialize? Do you do multi-sport? I mean, those are some great examples of how they've just become great players overall.
And just look at the guys on the field right now for the Tigers. You've got a lot of multi-sport athletes out there. Case Cothran, Derek Huss, Ian Youngdahl, Kenny Rash. I mean, you could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Hookfin will play this to Derek Huss, who has kind of taken over this distribution role at the back now for the Tigers. And this is better here, building out of the back after the goal kick situation.
So much more towards Spencer's strengths doing that.
Do you think that was part of the talk at the halftime break as well, Will, just doing the things that Tigers are comfortable with?
I think so. I think Coach Keeler is definitely probably trying to make sure that they kept the ball controlled and on the ground, not trying to wear out Kenny, but look at that movement all the way to the corner.
Owen King brings it back into the box with the cross. Back to Kenny Rash. Kenny puts his foot through it, but it's blocked by a Sioux City West player. That ball was going to stay down and was going to be moving. Now Isaac Peterson with a little crafty move to get away. Looks for Owen King. And the ball will end up near the corner flag. That was one of the better buildups all the way from the back for the Tigers into an attacking position and almost a shot on target. I think if that ball wasn't blocked, Kenny struck that very well.
I agree. I mean, I think when the Spencer's just such a talented team when the ball's on the ground and when they can start just to utilize the rest of their team, find open space, and just present opportunities that way. When you're playing that way, they're a tough team to handle. And so, like you said, that was a beautiful, beautiful possession.
Here's Ian McCray on the ball now for Spencer. Ian will shoot from outside the box. It bounces safely in front of the keeper, Cesar Vasquez, who has the sure hands. Vasquez rolls it out quickly to Abe Ponce, and now Ponce being defended by Gavin Gross, who tracks all the way back from a forward position. And the referee tugging at his shirt to indicate Spencer player pulling back Ponce. And now this delivery will be interesting, Will, because too far for a shot, more than likely. And West is bringing forward a lot of white shirts. Not a great delivery and a wasted opportunity there on the set piece by Sioux City West. Alex Toulay will not be happy with his set piece delivery on that opportunity.
Yeah, and I was going to say, when you bring all those people forward, you're definitely trying to get that goal, get that shot. But I always tried to keep one person in the middle to get a quick turnaround and try to switch it on the defense, or from the defense to the offense. And West didn't seem to be too worried about that.
Here's Raimundo Gonzalez, who has not seen much of the ball in the second half after a very active first half. 15 minutes gone in the second half, 25:30 left to play. Spencer trails 1-0. Flag up on the far side. West in an offside position. Elijah Turner had just strayed offside.
I'm hoping Spencer continues with their control of the ball versus trying to just boot it down.
Owen Olsen on the ball for the Tigers, plays it wide to Isaac Peterson. Peterson back to Derek Huss. Derek to Owen. Owen challenged from behind. Tiger fans thought there was a push. And now Oscar Perez on the move. Perez moves it back to his right foot. Holds up the play. Tigers get defenders back. And now Braden Hyder will intercept. Braden tried to lay it off for Ian McCray. Hyder will play this into space for Owen to chase, and Owen's got the speed to get there. Vasquez comes off his line and then stuck in no man's land. And a very important touch from, I believe that's Paul Mias again, who loves a slide challenge. That's the third time tonight we've seen him do that.
Well, and I think he did save it there because I think we had Gross coming down on the backside wide open. So if he could have gotten that cross off and well placed, I think there would have been a wide open shot there for Spencer.
And it was the first time as Vasquez goes way up to claim this ball. That was the first time the previous play that we saw some indecision from Vasquez. Which as an attacking team, that just kind of gets you even a little bit more, your eyes get even bigger when you see a goalkeeper come off of his line like that and then all of a sudden he stops.
Yeah, he realized I am too far out and they have possibly too much control of that ball.
Here's Braden Hyder trying to use his size in midfield. Takes a little bit of a shove, maybe a little bit helping out the referee make that decision. As you can see, Braden has the size advantage on Oscar Perez, who did foul him. And Perez, I think that's exactly what he's saying. He's saying, look at Braden. He's a big guy. He didn't go over that easily. 23 minutes left to play, second half. Tigers trail 1-0, looking for the equalizer. After the free kick taken, Case Cawthron has his pass intercepted. Oscar Perez coming all the way back inside the defensive half for the Wolverines. Derek Huss sends it back forward with a big header. Now Kenny Rash goes up for it, and Kenny has his legs taken out from under him.
I would not be surprised with a card there.
And I really like that call from the referee from a safety standpoint more than anything. And Kenny, you can see, is hot right now, not happy with the West player kind of clearing him out. Referee's going to have to talk to the two players and calm things down here. So the referee will bring together Sioux City West players and Kenny Rash, who went up for that header. And by the way, Kenny still won that ball.
That's that multi-sport, his football there coming in, I think.
That's exactly right, and good to see a handshake there between Kenny and Jaime Perez, two highly competitive players. And now Owen Olson standing over the free kick for Spencer. The left-footed shot, and it's not far off, as that was just over the crossbar. I think Vasquez was going to have that covered up, but a pretty solid effort from Owen Olson.
You know, I'm really liking having Gross up front when the coach puts him there, because, I mean, I honestly think he almost said, you know, just go all out and try to get that ball, make challenges, and I think that's really been able to put a little bit of pressure on Storm Lake's defense so they make those mistakes.
Tiger fans frustrated again, thought there was a push in the back of Case Cawthron. Center referee has certainly let the two teams play tonight. There's been a physical element to the game for sure. And now it will be a throw-in for West on this near side. Jose Martinez will take over. Martinez has not had as much time on the ball either in the second half. There was times in the first half where he was in midfield, would get the ball and have time to look up and survey through his options and then make a choice.
I think you're right. Yeah, Spencer's become quite a bit more aggressive this half and trying to take control of the ball and trying to move it forward, and I think that's been to their benefit, hugely to their benefit.
Now 21 minutes left to play. Spencer trailing 1-0, looking for the Tigers' first goal of the match. Ball played all the way back to Cesar Vasquez. Vasquez not taking any chances. Will play this long towards Raimundo Gonzalez. And now a push from Braden Hyder on Oscar Perez will give the free kick to West.
See, now Ashton back there, when he won that challenge, did it great. He went straight up, kept his arms down, just beat the Sioux City West player in the challenge, and Hyder's mistake there had been putting his hands out. Whether he pushed him or not, that's pretty much a call almost all the time if you want to make one.
Here's the right-footed delivery, hangs in the air. Dangerous ball, knocks down, and the shot goes into the side netting from Abe Ponce, as the alarm bells were sounding very loudly that time as that ball just fluttered in the air. 3 Tiger players attacked it, but it actually fell to the foot of a Wolverines player in the box. Derek Huss with the wind at his back. High ball sent back forward by Sioux City West, flicked on by Oscar Perez, and it will drift out into touch. Tiger throw-in looking for Gavin Gross. And now the Tiger fans with a sarcastic round of applause after the foul from Abe Ponce. Tiger substitution. Coming back into the game will be Davis Hogue.
Now, one thing you'll notice is Spencer's been really quick off those penalty kicks to try to get him off right away. And this last time, now the last 2 times, I think actually Sioux City West has grabbed the ball to kind of toss it back and slow it down a little bit. And
the game within the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's Derek Huss after the Tigers get into position downfield. Owen Olson able to pull it back, and Cesar Vasquez coming off of his line to cover up the ball. Almost something out of nothing there as Owen gets that long delivery on the set piece. Jason Mejia. Jaime Perez to Oscar Perez. Back to Alex Tule. Difficult pass there, the diagonal ball that got into the wind, and fortunate for West that Oscar Perez was able to get to the ball, as the wind has really picked up here in the last few minutes. Tigers playing with the wind at their back, but you can see the flag in the northeast corner is fluttering quite a bit more violently than it was in the first half. Here is another ball hanging in the air and in fact getting pushed forward by that wind, but it falls down to Ponce. Ponce off the post, and the Tigers able to clear it for the moment. I think the wind causing some problems there, as this ball will end up all the way into touch, and the Tigers breathe a sigh of relief.
That was quite a shot. Yeah, like you said, honestly, that it looked like it was going to be going more towards hook fin and then kind of died midair and came back down right into the Sioux City West player.
I think that's what it was. It just created that moment of no one knowing where the ball was going. And I think that's what Ponce is saying right now. He said, all of a sudden the ball was at my foot. I had an opportunity, and he hit the post. Here's Perez with a beautiful takedown. Oscar Perez. Oscar Perez, one of those players that just looks like he's got quicker feet than everybody else.
Very talented ball handling skills. I mean, while Sioux City West isn't normally keep it on the field as much, it seems more like they like to go for a fast-paced game. They are doing a good job of putting it back down on the field and settling the ball now that the wind is against them.
Big bouncing ball that Owen Olsen had a chance to chase after. Braden Hyder trying to play that ball, but it bounced right by him, and then Owen had a potential opportunity. Now Sioux City West back onto the ball, and again the Wolverines playing it into the air, which is anybody's guess where it's going to go, and the Tigers will have the throw. So Spencer right now happy to see the ball go up like that, I think, and just flutter in the air.
I'd agree, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some longer shots from Spencer now that they have this heavy wind. I'm sure that Coach Keeler's probably telling him, when you get that open shot, even outside the box, a little farther back, take that to try to get that lead back down to a tie.
Gavin Gross with the layoff for Ian McCrae. Ian keeps it on the deck to Braden Hyder. Now Owen Olsen. Owen King making the outside run. Owen back into the box for Hyder. Gross with the flick, and it's just over the crossbar. A beautiful move by the Tigers, but the payoff not quite there. I love, though, what Gavin tried there, because if he just directs that, had enough pace, could have beaten the keeper. It just got a little bit underneath it.
That was good movement there to get it into him in the center. Very good.
And that's one where the goalkeeper, Vasquez, is thinking he doesn't know where it's going to go because it's right in the center of his goal. It could have gone anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Vasquez watches the ball hang just a little bit. Jaime Perez for Ponce, Abe Ponce. Eli Hookfin comes off of his line to clear the ball. Owen King, a couple of nice touches to Ian McCrae. Gavin Gross. And now Case Cawthron. Gavin Gross again on the ball for Spencer. To Owen Olsen. Owen with time. Played the through ball with just a little bit too much pace. And Vasquez able to collect. 14 minutes left to play. 1-0, Sioux City West in front. Should be an exciting final 14 minutes. Owen Olsen just running out of real estate as Vasquez able to slide in and get to the ball first.
Vasquez just shows a lot of talent at that keeper position. Just knowing when to come out generally, knowing he's got that big body to just cover space. He's going to be a hard keeper to score on.
And there's a lot of keepers you feel really good about taking care of the 6-yard box, immediately around the goal. He feels like he's covering up most of the 18-yard box. Here's Abe Ponce on this near side. Wearing the captain's armband, lays it back to Jason Mejia. Cutting back in, left-footed shot, and not a clean strike that time from Garcia as Eli Hookfin watches it go wide. Some Spencer Tiger substitutions with Gross and also Hogue going back to the Tiger sideline. Kenny Rash back up front with fresh legs for the final 12 minutes. And Ian Youngdahl to this near side. Olsen to Cawthron. Now Youngdahl. Gabe Hernandez. Gabe Hernandez not taking any chances with his defending tonight. He's a pretty straightforward player. Here's the partial clearance. Ian McCray will chase after it. Raimundo Gonzalez gets there and continues his run. Still Gonzalez. Difficult pass for his teammate to bring in. Somehow did. And now Isaac Peterson whistled for the foul.
Now, when you watch Ian McCray, you can just see he's got a great understanding of the field and where people are at, ball movement. He really plays it to space well. You know, it's really just his weakness here is the fact that he's a freshman and just can't physically keep up with some of those other players. And otherwise, I love seeing him in that center right there.
He's a player that just is going to benefit from just strictly getting these reps of playing varsity soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Owen King as that ball stayed in play somehow on the far side. Kenny Rash able to keep the ball. Still Kenny as the touch let him down just a little bit. There is his shadow, Jason Mejia. As we talked about in the first half, he was following Kenny everywhere.
Which really we haven't mentioned as much, but he's quite a defender as well.
I've been impressed by him also.
And so that's putting quite a bit of pressure on Kenny over there to be creating something when he's got such a heavy defense set against him.
The big delivery, Owen Olsen to chase after it. I think Owen has kind of realized that Kenny has become such a central focus of the West defense that it at least gives him a one-on-one matchup most times. Yeah. And he's been able to chase some balls here in the last few minutes that have almost created some chances. Here's the goalkeeper, Cesar Vasquez, the senior. Plays it to midfield. Braden Hyder goes up to win the first ball, but West there for the second ball. Hyder stays with it, but so does Oscar Perez. And now Perez plays it to Jaime Perez, the goal scorer for West. Ball takes him a bit wide. Still Jaime Perez. He'll shoot from distance, and Hookfin has it go through his mitts and just sneak over the goal line as Jaime Perez struck that squarely and scores the second for Sioux City West.
And Hookfin read that shot pretty well. It was very unlucky that it just didn't quite hang on to it there.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to Jaime Perez for hitting that very cleanly right into the wind. And it was a well-struck ball that trickles over the goal line. Jaime Perez now with a double here tonight. 2-0, Sioux City West in front. Jose Martinez. Now Owen Olsen from distance, and the goalkeeper scrambling back. He was well aware he needed to get back, and that's just what you highlighted, Will. Some shots from distance with that wind, and I think Owen was thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, he does a great job of coming out Vasquez there as a keeper, but especially when you got the wind against you here, that's something you got to be careful of with some shots on target out.
Bouncing ball through midfield. The Tigers able to win it back early. Isaac Peterson in a physical battle on that left-hand side. Picks out Owen Olson. Owen towards Ian McCrae. Now a ball for Owen King to chase if this will stay in play, and the ball just drifts over the end line. With 8:20 left to play, Spencer trails 2-0. Cesar Vasquez, the goal kick. Not a great delivery as it allows Owen King to attack it. Ashton Musser now for Spencer. Eli Hookfin plays it long towards Kenny Rash. Sioux City West in a wide position now on the right-hand side with Christian Joaquin. Jose Martinez to Gabe Hernandez. Now it's Jaime Perez through towards Joaquin. Peterson was doing a nice job to get back in time and got there just about a step ahead of Joaquin.
That was a good job by him at the midfield position to make sure he was back to kind of cover that backside. He did exactly what the midfielder's supposed to do, getting back like that. Also, why they're always so tired.
And Isaac's been getting forward to help carry the ball forward, so he did have to cover some ground to get back. Here's Oscar Perez looking for Joaquin again, but Musser was able to read it really well, take it down, and now find Owen King. Owen left it for Kenny. Kenny had already taken off, and now the offside flag up against Christian Joaquin. Something we haven't talked a lot about in this match, but Sioux City West has shown some nice depth in this game also. When players have come into the game off of the bench, they have not really changed their style of play at all. We haven't seen the level drop any from Sioux City West.
Yeah, and even so, and the athleticism too. Just seeing that they're continuing that speed the whole way through, that's tough on Spencer. I mean, if I'm counting right, I've only really seen two guys coming in consistently on the Spencer bench.
And for West, it was probably closer to 4 to 5 that have pretty routinely come into the game. Although even the substitutions here in the second half have, I guess, been fewer substitutions in the second half for West. This ball is going to drift wide. Throw in for Owen Olson. And now Owen turns on the Jets. Owen Olson getting around Gabe Hernandez. Still Owen Olson. Another sliding challenge from Tule this time. And a whistle and a foul against Owen.
I don't know if I would have called that one. I think that was pretty fair. Considering the other ones they've kind of let go and let him play with, I would have said that one's probably more of a fair challenge there.
Referee looks to the midfield line for a substitution. And it will be Christian Joaquin heading to the touchline for the Wolverines. Coming into the game is going to be number 17, Wilson Santos, a junior. Wilson Santos, the target of this throw-in. Derek Huss to Owen Olson. Great pick out there. Owen to Kenny. And the referee pulls it back for the foul on Owen Olson. It's a foul really after Owen made that pass.
I guess I couldn't quite see with this one. Did he lose advantage at that point?
I didn't think that he did, which is kind of why I wondered why the referee pulled it back. But here is the free kick. Braden Hyder to take it. Picks out Owen Olson. Owen lays it off for Kenny Rash, and Kenny, leaning backwards, got underneath the shot and couldn't keep it on target.
I'm going to say I really like that he's taking the shot right there, but as you said, he leaned back too much. He's got to keep that body over it with that wind behind him. But he does need to take those. I mean, with where they're at position-wise in the score, that's the shot you need to take.
Cesar Vasquez, even into the wind, able to get the ball nearly to midfield. Gabe Hernandez. And now Case Cothran. Here's Wilson Santos to Gabe Hernandez. And now Yason Mejia. Fancy footwork from Oscar Perez. Braden Hyder and Owen Olson combined to win the ball. Now Braden Hyder leading the break. Owen can get onto the end of this through ball, and he does. Still Owen Olson. Tackled. Kenny Rash's shot off target.
I think there they let that one for sure because Kenny had advantage taking that shot right there. I mean.
And Owen's frustrated because he wants the foul, but understandably he was the player that was knocked to the ground. But you're right. I think it was advantage played because Kenny was able to pick up that ball pretty cleanly. Derek Huss coming all the way forward to help battle for that header in midfield. And it does look like Derek drifting forward here with just about 2.5 minutes left to play. The Tigers forced to take some chances. And now a big collision, and referee says play on. Kenny Rash gets 2 touches on the ball, being hounded by Wolverines defenders. Now Jose Martinez, Derek Huss. 2 minutes left to play. Spencer trailing 2-0. Kitchen sink time for the Tigers as Spencer brings a lot of purple shirts forward. And now Vasquez taking his time, letting some seconds tick off the clock. Center referee will be keeping an eye on him to make sure he doesn't get too worried about spending time. Here's Owen Olson back in. Vasquez knocks it down, and again will take his time. That's a senior goalkeeper right there, Will.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I mean, if you're following the ball where you should be at that point, then that's actually a really bad play on the keeper's part because then they'd be right there to get it since he won't pick it up. But by not picking it up, he allows himself to keep it on the ground and force Spencer to come challenge him. Otherwise, he can just drain the clock. So, you know, like you said, it's a smart play if they're not chasing after the ball and following a shot.
1 minute left to play. Tigers will have the throw in here with Ian Youngdahl. Ian launches the throw down the touchline. Owen Olson gets there somehow. Hernandez stays with it, and the ball goes out into touch. It will be a Tiger throw in. Spencer needs the ball quickly with 40 seconds left to play. Cothran puts it into the box, and it bounces into the arms of goalkeeper Cesar Vasquez. Vasquez with the quick throw out to the far side. And now it's Isaac Peterson's turn for the throw. 15 seconds left to play. Sioux City West not too concerned about anything other than the clock right now with a 2-goal advantage. And the Wolverines able to see the timeout and play the ball into space as the final seconds tick off. And Sioux City West earning the victory here tonight, 2-0. Both goals tonight come from Jaime Perez, scored the first in the 33rd minute on the really nice 1-2 play just outside the box, ended up with the shot from about the penalty spot by Perez. And then the second goal, Jaime Perez in the 71st minute was able to direct a shot with a lot of power towards goal. Eli Hookfin couldn't quite hang on to it, and Perez was able to find his second. Will, on the whole here tonight, both teams had their chances. I mean, it's not like the Spencer Tigers didn't create chances. Unofficially, I had Spencer for 15 shots, 6 of those on target, so a lot of saves made by Cesar Vasquez. Sioux City West had a similar number of shots and shots on goal. The difference here tonight, the finishing from Jaime Perez, and I do think West probably had a few more chances created and a few more clean chances here this evening.
Yeah, and I think, again, like I had said earlier, I think that really Spencer wasn't initially playing to the strengths there. They were relying heavily on Kenny at the beginning and trying to kind of have him provide those shots. And, I mean, West saw it coming. They really did bundle up on him on defense. And they did make a great adjustment, especially coming out at the second half, to start trying to really utilize more players, try to get people off Kenny, or try to utilize space to get open in those shots. But it took a little longer for them to get to that point. And they're such a talented team in that sense that if you can get them there sooner, I think it would have been quite a different story.
And you said it early on in the first half, a team like Sioux City West that really across the board, 1 through 11 on the field, any player can handle the ball, take care of the ball, protect the ball. If they do get a goal advantage, difficult team to beat because of their style of play.
Exactly. And when they can start then sitting back and making you try to have to come after the ball when they're so athletic and have that ball handling skills, it's a tough position to come back from. And that's usually, more what I see Spencer doing is they get that early lead and they require the teams to come and take the ball from them. And it works so well because they are talented and have the ball control. But when you throw them in that other position, it does make it a lot more challenging. And we saw that here. So I'm sure they're going to learn quite a bit from it. But again, they're a very talented team, and so was Sioux City.
And now no time to dwell on this loss for the Spencer Tigers because tomorrow is a big one, taking on the Storm Lake Tornadoes, and the Tigers are going to play a fairly similar team in terms of skill level, although the Tornadoes, I think, much like the Spencer Tigers, want to keep it on the ground, keep control of the ball, and that's what the Tigers are probably going to see tomorrow, would be my guess.
Yeah, I would agree with you completely. And, that's always a tough matchup regardless, because even when they're not normally at the same kind of level rankings-wise, that rivalry between the two of them makes these matches extremely intense. I mean, and if they're, to win that, they're going to have to definitely be coming with their A game. And like you said, even not only are they going to have similar styles of play, but the jerseys.
Yes, that's right. It will look like a similar opponent tomorrow, too. Very similar green between Sioux City West and Storm Lake. So again, the Spencer Tigers, the number 10 ranked team in Class 2A, fall to 6-2 with the loss here tonight. The Sioux City West Wolverines keep their unblemished record now 8-0, and you would have to figure Sioux City West is going to get into the Class 3A rankings at some point here fairly soon. After the weekend, they have just had a win against Valley West Des Moines on Friday, and then beating the Spencer Tigers here today. 2 pretty big wins for West, and I would expect to see them in the rankings here shortly. So, Will, thank you for joining me here tonight. I'm Mark Magnuson. You've been listening to Spencer Tiger and watching Spencer Tiger Soccer on SMU Channel 3, the Spencer Channel. Again, our final, Sioux City West 2, Spencer 0 for Spencer Tiger Soccer.